have been gone for a hot minute. My goodness, Intel's new GPUs. Details have arrived. Tesla is under investigation for crashing into emergency vehicles, and mining cards. They're back, baby. Let's get into the hot news, everybody. I'm your host, Agent 47. We're going to be going over the hottest tech news that I can find on the internet while you enjoy your breakfast. And for anybody who's not aware of the lack of videos that happened last week, it was because, number one, my son was in the hospital and things went really poorly. You can check out the video that I did over on UFD Tech, kind of detailing some of the stuff that we went through, including also losing our power because it got ripped from our house completely, and then also losing internet. Finally, internet has been restored because shout out to Verizon Fios for giving a crap about their customers and listening to my story and being like, okay, yeah, we'll come out like today and we'll get it done for you. So thank you, Verizon Fios. Hashtag not sponsored, just really thankful for them. But that's enough of the housekeeping. I'm thankful for tech news. So let's talk about Intel and their upcoming Arc GPUs. Yes, my friends, that is now the name. Intel Arc is what it's going to be referred to as their GPU lineup, with them debuting a video where they have some very familiar colors. Hey, Intel, where'd you get the inspiration for one of the most popular color combinations in the entire world, huh? Was it hot news? Bet it was. You're welcome, world. Anyways, as we fly through the flurry of digital information, coming early 2022, in fact, more specifically Q1 of 2022. So we should expect to have these GPUs come out before March of next year, probably with a large unveiling happening at CES with an actual release date coming thereafter. So we're gearing up for the more and more release of what's coming out of what was previously known as Intel's DG2 GPU, but now we have Arc as the overarching name for it, and then below that, this first generation is going to be known as Alchemist, with further generations being known as Battle Mage, Celestial, and Druid. Is this a Dungeons and Dragons reference? Is this some sort of like tabletop RPG thing? Huh? Intel, you nerds? Are you nerds? Intel, are you geeking out on us with your naming scheme of your GPUs? Not a whole lot of details on the further generations, but Alchemist should have a whole bunch of features that we've come to expect from modern GPUs, including hardware-based ray tracing, mesh shading, variable rate shading, DX12 Ultimate, as well as artificial intelligence-driven super sampling, also what Nvidia calls it DLSS, or deep learning super sampling. So it seems like Intel should be able to keep up in that regard. The only thing that I would hope that they're gonna add to this list is proper driver support, because your DG1 is anus, but that's, you know, that's just my personal opinion. They also showed off some like little gameplay, not an FPS counter, not a whole lot, just a few games where you can play stuff, like Forza Horizon 4, as well as a few other games. And yes, indeed, it can play Crysis. So that answers that question. Good job keeping up with the meme, Intel. Very proud of you. Look at that GPU die. Honestly, the black and blue, I mean, if their PCBs are black like that, that's a good looking. I love when my GPUs look edible, like a snack. It's exactly what I want. And also confirmed that we're gonna get more details sooner, later, rather now this week. Details coming about AI-based super sampling thing that I was talking about earlier. As soon as my mouth can catch up with my brain, we're gonna be good to go, with one of Intel's people saying that they are very excited to do a separate announcement for their deep learning super sampling equivalent, and more information is coming later this week. Hopefully we get some more details about how they can enhance frame rate while not losing quality. Honestly, if it's as good as DLSS 2.0 as when it comes out, that'd be great. I would love to see that, but I'm not gonna necessarily hold my breath. What do you think of Intel's Arc, Alchemist, weird Dungeons and Dragons names? Let me know down below in the comments. I want to hear from you about what your perspective is on these new GPUs. I'm going to tell you my perspective on today's episode sponsor, my friends, the Ridge Wallet. I've never been this slim, not in my body. I've put on a few pounds, stress from, my life. I turned to eating very quickly, but my wallet has never been thinner thanks to the Ridge Wallet, because it just allows me to get rid of that old style George Costanza wallet where I was just packing every single receipt. Now I'm forced into minimalism with the Ridge Wallet. But just because it's slim and sleek and minimalist doesn't mean it doesn't have everything that I need, because it can hold up to 12 cards plus room for cash, whether it's the money clip or the money strap that you have right there. And there's over 30 colors and styles, including carbon fiber, burnt titanium, and I've got a gunmetal one right here, as well as a titanium stone washed. And the durable materials mean each wallet comes with a lifetime warranty. The Ridge seems so confident that you'll like it that they'll let you test drive it for 45 days and you can send it back for a full refund if you don't love it. And it also has RFID blocking technology in case you're worried about people somehow tapping your bum, because that's where I keep my wallet. Tapping your bum is not what I was going for. You know, people just always slapping my cheeks with the phone. I don't know if they'll approve this message, but yeah, in case you're worried about that, the Ridge can help you with that. So you can check them out by going to the link in the video description, ridge.com/hot news to get 10% off your order with them. Again, that's ridge.com/hot news. Big thanks to the Ridge for sponsoring today's episode of Hot News. Now let's get into the Cryptostonks update. It's been a while since I did this because it's been about a week since I did a Hot News at all. Bitcoin, almost exactly the same position, right around $46,000, just kind of staying around where its giant climb was about 10 days ago. Ethereum also just in the same position, $3,100, down 4% on the last 24 hours. Dogecoin up to 32 cents. Look at that dog bark. Woof, woof. Yeah, meme stonks. Oh man, I hate myself sometimes. GameStop been closing at $163.93, which is up 0.87%. AMC also up kind of bigly here, 6.63% to close the day out at $35.69. Meme stonks and crypto kind of staying in the same place. And Walmart not trying to stay in the same place, trying to go into the future with a crypto expert. At least that's what the job listing is indicating, that they want somebody who's ingenious and knows how to move forward in the world of crypto, with a digital currency product lead in charge of developing the digital currency strategy and product roadmap, not to be outdone by Amazon, who did literally the exact same thing a few weeks ago. And Microsoft, to not be outdone by itself, is now going to give you a 4K dashboard on the Xbox Series X because it has been 1080p up to now, which, I mean, it's just kind of par for the course that Microsoft has a really bad scaling on whatever the device they're releasing. Have you tried Windows display scaling? It's not good. Okay, it's just not. So I'm not surprised that, you know, nearly a year after the launch of the Series X, we're only now getting a 4K dashboard. But at the launch of the Steam Deck, we might get support for Microsoft's xCloud. At least that's according to Phil Spencer, who says that xCloud works really well on the Steam Deck already after he got to try it out for a little while back on August 13th. Xbox and Valve working together. Does this mean we could potentially get Steam on the Xbox? I don't think so, but who knows? And does anybody know if your data's secure anymore? Probably not. If you've done anything on the internet at any point, you're probably screwed, data speaking. Anyways, T-Mobile, the latest company to screw you over because they've got unauthorized access to a ton of information from customers. They're confirming that it happened, and they're confident that the entry point to gain access has been closed, but they're doing a deep dive technical review to figure out what oopsie kind of went wrong with it being reported by Motherboard that 100 million people could have had their social security numbers, addresses, driver's licenses, and names stolen from this database breach, which is that's kind of enough to like go take out a whole bunch of loans and like financial stuff in your name. That's a ton of data for them to lose for like a third of the US population. Yikers. They're gonna be conducting an extensive analysis, okay, my friends? Just so you know. They're gonna look into what it was, and they'll tell you, hey, screw it, everybody already had your data anyways. And the NHTSA doesn't have enough data on Tesla and its Autopilot technology, especially when it comes to it crashing into emergency vehicles that are stopped on the side of the road. This is actually a pretty known problem for Tesla, where their Autopilot system just doesn't react to stop objects that are in their lane. But the NHTSA is doing some investigation into up to 11 incidences that have happened since 2018, including 17 injuries and 1 fatality, where Tesla's Autopilot system did not stop with an emergency vehicle in its lane, with things happening such as there were warning lights and flares and cones and an illuminated arrow board. Tesla didn't care and just went, hey, the emergency vehicle, we meet now. It's delicious. So the NHTSA is just investigating it. Who knows what this is exactly going to do? Likely, this might mean that Tesla has to add like an extra advisory when you enable Autopilot, where it says, hey, listen, we're gonna crash into things, which is something that I thought they disclosed pretty decently, that over 50 miles an hour, traffic aware cruise control just doesn't see things, because if it did, it would stop all of the freaking time, because there's like little things that are in the road or on the side of the road that make it hard to stop. And so I've been renting out a Tesla on Turo for a few months, and every single time I rent one out, I tell people, hey, listen, when you activate Autopilot, number one, it's like a 15-year-old driving. It can kind of do the basic stuff, but you got to be ready to take over the wheel at any point. And then number two, if you're going over 50 miles an hour, it will crash directly into whatever's right in front of you. So don't stop paying attention just because you put on Autopilot. And everybody seemed to have heeded my warning pretty decently. Tesla's disclosed this. I try to disclose this. We'll see what the NHTSA comes up with. But GM is coming up with a plan to get rid of the bolts catching fire, which I don't know if you know this because I didn't cover it a whole lot, but Chevy bolts catch fire a lot. Just, it's a thing that they do, which is their electric vehicle. You don't want that happening. So GM is now committing to replacing the batteries in the Chevy Bolt in the next few weeks, trying to get that done so that they, stop catching fire. This isn't the first recall that they've done. The previous one didn't fix it. We'll see if they can get this right. I don't know. The Bolt, kind of unexciting. GM, maybe just give up. And if this is their entry, right? Like the Bolt is like what they've designed and been implementing over the years and have worked on. And then they're going to take that technology and throw it into the Hummer electric truck. That's going to be a massive fire. That's just a Gigantamax truck, all right? I'm not exactly hopeful on the Hummer truck. And are you hopeful for mining cards, my friends? Well, Sapphire's got you covered with an RX 570 that they've mated with another RX 570. Yes, self-cessed? That's not right. Brett, you shouldn't go there. Anyways, dual RX 570 mining card now coming out from Sapphire, which is going to have 156 watt power draw to do 60 mega hash, which isn't the most efficient thing in the world, but it's a good looking like non-discrete mining card, which only has a single HDMI out right there and can perform as well as you'd probably want. This is probably due to a stockpile of like RX 570 cores that they have that they need to get fixed. But mining cards, what do you think? Let me know down in the comments. And if you want to mine on Nvidia GPUs, well, NB Miner has an update that might potentially restore up to 70% of the LHR GPUs Ethereum mining, which, in case you're not familiar, LHR GPUs from Nvidia was their lame, stupid attempt to like restrict mining off of their 30 series cards when the 3070 and 3080 Ti launched. They just made it so that they were light hash rate in Ethereum specifically, which is like putting a gate in the middle of an open field with like no wall or fence surrounding you, just being like, hey, listen, you're safe now. We installed an access entryway, all right? You're blocking people from the outside. When you just go around and mine a different coin. My goodness, Nvidia. Thank you so much for protecting the cards and the people. I don't know what to do now that I'm not mining Ethereum. It's not like there's a million other freaking cryptocurrencies out there. Anyways, wow, I got salty towards that at the end, but I'm not salty because that's the end of today's hot news. I'm so excited to be back after a week off. It has been a crazy week, but I'm glad to have been here. Thank you so much for spending your breakfast with me. I'll see you back here for another episode of Hot News tomorrow, my friends. Cheers.